Hello and welcome to the Digital Quill Podcast with your host, Mars Wilson. It is episode 14 and it is a very special episode today, guys. I have my guest, my very first guest. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, guest?
Well, hello. My name is Scott Shirley, and I'm the artist known as Second Chance Charade.
All right, awesome. Thank you for providing that name, because I always wonder, should I call you Second Chance Charade, or should I call you Scott?
You can call me Scott.
All right, cool. All right, I have written about you before. I hope that you have enjoyed the articles I've written. I will be linking those in this episode, along with anything that you want me to link. Let's just hop into it and tell me anything you want about your music, about your history, about yourself, and we'll move from there.
Well, I don't even know where to start.
Starting with the history is usually my favorite starting point. What got you into music?
I guess we can talk about, let's start at the beginning of music for me. And we can just tell you how I got to where I am, because it's funny. So in high school, me and a friend of mine started kind of a band, and it was just us two, and we somehow were trying to cover Creed and Dashboard Confessionals. That was like what we were trying to do, was like be a cover band, but it was those two bands we chose. Why? I don't know. That they're not really like the same, but that's what he wanted to go with. So I played bass and he played guitar, and somehow we were an acoustic band. And so we spent high school under the name of the band called Hush. That was a real thing. And after high school, we moved to Florida. Well, he moved to Florida, and then shortly after, I came down to Florida, and then we kind of reformed the band, and we're trying to go more pop punk, because that's what we were into bands like Story of the Year, Taking Back Sunday, My Chemical Romance, things like that. And so we started this band or whatnot, and we were doing shows for like the small stuff, fairs and small venues like that. And we were doing a show covering Three Doors Down. The song, it was Kryptonite specifically. And I'll never forget this performance, because I was not doing anything. I was playing bass. And so it was just some random part in the song, and some guy comes up to like the stage area, and mind you, it's just like the stage and people, like that's how small it is. And so he comes up with his beer, spills it all over the place, and proceeds to yell at me that my solo is fucking amazing. And now mind you, again, I'm playing bass guitar, and there is no solo in Three Doors Down Kryptonite. So I proceeded to start laughing my ass off, and yeah, that was a good time. And so, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought right there.
That's okay. If you want to like try to find that and conduct it back into the station, we can do that. But I do have a question.
Well, I was thinking about that particular night, and then I was like, forgot where I was actually trying to lead into it, because I was just trying to tell that story, because I thought that was funny, because that's never happened to this day, something like that. But yeah, after that, we kind of went our separate ways. He went back to Missouri, and then I started doing like EDM techno stuff. I don't even know if I want to say this, to be honest.
You under the name, no obligations to say anything you do not want to.
Well, it's not like people can't Google it and find out. I mean,
That's
if
fair.
they really want to know, they're gonna know. But it was under the name DJ Scotty Too Hottie, and so I had an EP out, and it was on MySpace, and it's still technically on MySpace, but the sounds don't work, but the track list is there. Now, unfortunately, I can't find these songs. And so I know that they're out on the internet somewhere because I know I posted them multiple places, lots of places. I'm confident that they're on YouTube still. I cannot find them for the life of me. And same thing with our band before we split up, me and my friend Cody, that music from that band, I think our name was Burning Autumn or Autumn Burns or something like that. I don't know. It was something super emo-y like that. And that music's out there too. And again, I can't find it anywhere, but I know for a fact that it's out there because I remember specifically putting it on YouTube. So it's like, but I can't find it anywhere, and it really sucks because all that music's lost. Now, the DJ Scotty Too Hotty shit probably could be better off forgotten, but I know it's out there somewhere, and I'd still like to find it. And outside of that, now I'm doing Second Chance Charade, which is just blending all of that past emo with some new school stuff and trying to blend genres that people haven't really tried to blend together. And that's where I'm going to kind of take this project. And then my other project that I have live now that nobody really knows about, except for I think you do, but it's a, I don't know what you would call it, dubstep, like kind of just comedy, but that's under the name Scotland. But I don't really, like, that's just more for fun.
I definitely like that you have a lot of projects, and one of the things that I appreciate a lot is the fact that you have never once, well, I can't say that because I don't know, but it appears to me as an outsider looking in that you've never once given up on your music, and I hope you never do. I hope you never do.
No, I definitely have taken some breaks, especially over ever since I had my kid. Like, I took a break. Well, I took a break. I switched to video games and did the esports thing, and just was kind of doing life. And yeah, now I'm in a place to where I've been able to get back into doing it. And yeah, I was like, it's kind of just in my blood to do. So it's like, I got to keep doing it.
When you're not doing music in those breaks, do you kind of feel like something's missing? Like something doesn't quite feel right?
Yeah, in a way, because it's like, I don't want to say to look at it like a hobby, but yeah, if for you or anyone who's listening, it's like, imagine having something that it's satisfying that you like to do, and it could be anything, and then just not being able to do that, whether it be life, time, scheduling, whatever, and then just, always in the back of your head be like, I'd really like to do this. I'd really like to do this, but I know I can't. And it's like that. It just kind of nitpicks at you.
I feel like I can relate to that quite a bit when it comes to my writing. I've been writing my entire life, at least 20 years of it, and when I've taken breaks from it because I just didn't have the inspiration or creative blocks, it did feel like something was not like quite right. So I get what you're saying. I hear you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you're currently on Second Chance Charade. Can you tell us why you chose that name? I like the name quite a bit, but I don't know the story behind that, and I feel like there's a story behind that.
Yeah, so that started as I wanted this project to reflect when people look at the name. I wanted them to be like, I know what kind of music this is. And one way to do that is to look back at the bands that I used to like and that I grew up listening to and be like, what were those bands for me? And what do I want my music to be like? And what can I take from them and put into my music? And so I was thinking about all the bands that I like. And one that stuck with me was Second Chance Serenade and their song Fall For You. And I was like, that's like a top 10 emo banger. And
Absolutely.
the name and so I'm sitting there at work and I'm just like, just sitting there, and just that name was just in my head. And I was like, Second Chance Charade. I was like, to me, it made sense because it's my second chance at putting all of my effort into something. And so I was like, it fit because it brought in that nostalgic emo vibe that was built into the name, but I was still able to put me in there and say, hey, this is my second coming, my second chance. So, ta-da.
It's funny that you say, I'm gonna get your name and that name or the other band's name mixed up now because they're so similar. Mm-hmm. And I think I see the influence. I feel like I see the influence because one, I absolutely had Fall For You on repeat. I feel like I might know that song quite well. Not well enough to just belt it out of nowhere, but well enough that if the music was playing and I had like karaoke, I could probably do it.
Facts.
But yeah, I see the influence, and I think that's why your name specifically stuck with me when I was going through TikTok and seeing all the musicians and stuff, because like I was like, I feel like I've seen that, but like it's different. It's, I guess I don't want to call your name like modern, but we might be able to make you the modern second hand or I can't speak, sorry.
Yeah, now it's gonna get confusing.
But hey, I mean, that might be good for marketing.
Yeah. I mean, it has happened. I do get comments where people do think that I am Second Chance Serenade. And so I just giggle. I'm like, well, you know what? They are an influence. And if you go back to the Emo Sessions EP that I put out, that's where you can really hear the influence in those acoustic tracks. But
all right,
yeah,
effluence is now the new term.
Yeah.
Your Lost EP that you released in 2024.
Oh man. Yeah.
We
can talk about that.
The album artwork on that kind of gives me like strong emo vibes, and that's one of the things that I love and appreciate about like you as a person and your music and your like creativity. You do put so much emotion and so much like depth in your lyrics. They're like poetic and they're storytelling. Like you're telling a poetic story almost, and I like that. Like, thank you.
Yeah, so the one thing that I've always done in my lyrics is that I felt that it needs to tell a story or a feeling or an emotion, because songs nowadays don't. They basically are about topics. And so the difference for me in being like, what can I do different? And I wanted to go back to making the lyrics more vivid and catch people's attention that way, make them listen to the song. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like an artist in the sense of making art or visuals, or like a producer. Like social media content isn't necessarily my forte. And so if that's my weakness, so to speak, my strength needs to be in my music, and that's what I decided I need to do, is put depth in the lyrics and into the song and the emotion of the song. And the same thing with the visuals. I try to keep the visuals to reflect what the song is going to be. So you look at that visual and you kind of get an idea of, okay, I understand what this song's, what I'm in for. Hopefully that works. I don't know yet, but we'll see.
I like that. I like that you put that effort into it. I have come across artists that I feel like do a lot of copy and paste, and I know what they're trying to do, but it's artists like you with the originality and the creativity that keep me coming back to like independent musicians and stuff like that, because no hate on anyone like doing the cookie cutter stuff. Like you go for it, like you do what works best for you, but I will never be able to thank you enough for the effort and energy you put into your music. So thank you, Scott.
Yeah, well, I gotta put it somewhere, because like I'm not pop punk, so I can't really do the pop punk thing. I mean, the new music is a little bit more aggressive, and like the new album that's coming out is really a lot of My Kim Taking Back Sunday influences. The new songs that just came out yesterday and today and tomorrow are a little bit more Sleep Token derived. Well, being that my cover of Damocles dropped this morning, and yeah, that is Sleep Token. So, but yeah, the album's gonna be definitely that old school, aggressive alt rock punk vibe. So that might fit, and as I go forward, it might evolve into something like that. But the older stuff that I was doing just didn't really fit into like that style, so doing content for it was really hard. But yeah, hopefully this newer stuff I'll be able to do better content, but I still want to keep it different and not do the same things that everyone else is doing, but still find ways to, I guess, fit in the algorithms, because that's really what it comes down to, is getting your stuff into that algorithm hitbox, so to speak. And there's, yeah, the cookie cutter ways, that it's just like a path that's already been forged that can do it, but you can always forge your own path. And that's what I'm just going to try and do, because, one, I ain't got the money to do promotions and stuff, so we're just going to do it organically, naturally, and we'll go through our ups and downs. And I just keep coming back to, I don't know if you're familiar with Lil Nas X.
A little bit, but not by much.
Well, so the funny story about him is I actually remember watching his live streams when he was nobody, and he's had just a couple hundred people. I remember he was eating a bowl of cereal, just playing some songs, talking about what he would do if he was famous and stuff, and then remembering that, and then seeing him now, and it's like, it's funny because at the time I just saw him as like kind of what I am now. So I keep things like that in my mind, like, it's like, just try and do it naturally and not be that cookie cutter type person. Plus, that's not my personality. I cry a lot.
I do want to remind you that we are recording, so I hope we're okay with saying that, because I'm not always okay with admitting I cry a lot too.
Oh yeah, listen, I
don't consider myself a crybaby, but I mean, if the shoe fits, then sometimes I wear it.
Yeah, hey, listen, we all do what we gotta do. I mean, yeah.
Human emotions are human emotions. I honestly, if someone looks me dead in the eye and says they've never cried, I'm like, either A, you're not human, or B, you're lying to me right now.
Listen, I still cry when I watch The Lion King, so.
I like that. We are not admitting this anywhere else, but I sometimes do too. And I cry
Yep.
watching The Notebook every time.
I guess that's fair. You are a girl, so I
What
can
the heck is
understand.
that supposed to mean? That is just rude. How rude. But that might actually have something to do with it, I'm not gonna lie.
I could definitely not get into The Notebook because, yeah, I kept pointing out the flaws in the movie, and yeah.
There may be a lot of flaws, but that's the point. Life has flaws. Everything is flawed. Let us have Delulu. So, as I said about, like, I don't mind if artists want to pursue the cookie cutter thing. Like I said, that's awesome. Like, I know they want to do things like that. I'm glad you're not. That's kind of like why. So I had a lot of thoughts on that, and now I don't know what my thoughts were. But
Whoa.
let's see. Let me see if I can pull my own trains back into the station, because sometimes I have a hard time doing that. Okay, there it is. So from my perspective, and like I kind of am trying to do with my own projects, like the more organic route, the more natural route, less of the like industry plant, less of the throwing a bunch of money at like certain companies for marketing and stuff like that. Like I don't want to do that. That's never been something I wanted to do. I have a problem with conforming. I either that's the autism or the ADHD, I don't know, but I cannot conform for the life of me, even if it would make me financially set at some point. But that's why I like the fact that yes, there are like the straight paths to success, and I like that we can kind of balance the cookie cutter stuff with our own authenticity and kind of make it like a yin and yang thing of just what does work and then mess around and find out, you know. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just trying to figure out how to fit your personality and your style into that algorithm current, basically.
Indeed.
And it's always going to be trial and error, honestly.
And I don't know, so I didn't really start using the internet till like 2011, 2012, which if you really think about it, the internet's only been around like 30, 35 years. That's still not a lot of time for someone to have experienced it in a way, especially if you didn't grow up with it. The internet gives us the like that algorithmic ability to like go forward and like use our authenticity, because that is kind of what the world is screaming for, I think, is authentic people doing people things, like real people things.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what, especially on TikTok, authenticity is really what drives the algorithms. So, definitely agree with that.
All right. I was trying to look over my notes here because I have some metaphysical questions for you and more music questions. Let's see. Do you want to talk more about your music? Is there anything you want to talk about project-wise that's coming out that you might want to, tell our audience about?
Shit, I don't... Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I mean, I did, but I didn't.
You're okay.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Have you not listened to my episodes? I swear like a sailor on here, and I try not to, but I do.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to, but it always ends up happening. So, yeah. But as far as
Somehow,
music goes,
sorry, go ahead.
no, as far as music goes, I don't think too much. I mean, like I said, I dropped the three singles this weekend. That's something new because I haven't seen anyone do it. Oh, actually, yes, there is. That was a full autism moment. There is something that I want to keep reminding people is that the thing that I want to incorporate into the brand of my music that I'm trying to get people to know, but I really don't know how to get it out there. And that's that for the fans of my music, whenever they create content, whether they're lip singing the songs or actually creating animated reels or whatnot, like that's the stuff that I want to use as the canvas to my song. So, like, eventually, when I get cool enough and people actually start making content using my songs and my lyrics and whatnot, then I want to be able to, like, do weekly or monthly rotations of people's canvas and art through the songs, kind of as my way of saying thanks to them, and getting them, kind of their exposure as a fan of my music for, the work that they put into whatever art they created. And so that a way that my community and brand is all technically like self-sustaining. They're contributing and it's coming full circle for everyone. Like I get to use it for Canvas. It helps me. I don't have to technically spend money and time hiring people to do things or trying to do it myself. They feel like obviously they'll get something out of it because then they get to be like, hey, look, they're going to show the song on Spotify, be like, that's my art. And then I get views, they get dopamine, and it works out. So that's something that I'm still trying to figure out how to promote and let people know that that's a thing that I want to do and continue to do. And hopefully I'll figure it out by the time that the album drops in June, because that's when this whole new genre switch will take off. So this whole summer is going to be pretty exciting, to say the least.
I'm looking forward to it for sure, because you keep talking about it, and I'm like, can it just be the summer already so I can, like, experience this?
Yeah. The other thing that I'm trying to do, and I'll tell you because I did already send out the emails and I'm just waiting to hear back, but I did reach out to Sleeping with Sirens to see if I could help with some of their shows over the summer between June and July. So hopefully I'll be able to pick one of those and maybe help behind the stage on that and get some advice on how to do shows and stuff. Because I haven't, outside of that early stuff, with my friend doing like festivals and fairs and small like bars and stuff, I haven't really done a show in any capacity in like, well, at least 15 years. So yeah, trying to get back into that's going to be interesting.
Now, I don't know, or I'm not you, so I don't know what your brain sphere is like. I imagine if it's anything like mine, probably chaotic and sometimes a little scary. Have you done like local bar shows or thought about doing local bar shows? Like, is the local music scene to you any good, or is it does it need a little work?
So, listen, I live out in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. So to say that there's an emo scene out here is laughable, because there's not. So yeah, it's a little difficult out here, but on top of that, to pull back the curtain a little bit, I don't have a band. Like, I do all the music myself, so to do a show with just me and a computer and it not be dubstep would be kind of weird for me personally. Like, I wouldn't know how to, I guess, make the theatrics and the show good enough to where people wouldn't even care that there wasn't a full-on band for an alternative rock show. So I definitely either need to look into getting some people on board and making some new music with some actual people, or figure something like that out. So that's kind of where I'm at, is now I got to move into actually talking to other human beings and not playing every instrument myself.
Oh, a one-man band. I like that. I don't know much about music as far as like production and creation goes. I don't ever let me fool you or make it sound like I do. One day I might, maybe. But I know that there are some workarounds for when you are like a one-person show. Sometimes there's like stand-ins and stuff. I know I know not anything about Pennsylvania, but if you ever come to the Southwest and you want to try to set up a show, we might be able to find some people to play drums and guitar. And if you have like the chords sheets and stuff already like laid out, or can lay them out easily, that might help. I don't know how music works, but maybe.
Yeah, so you can do like house bands usually. Most larger venues always have like a house band for things like that. If someone like gets sick or hurt, or like a last minute thing happens, they usually always have a house band on hand. And yeah, you do things like that. Just give them like the tabs or the sheet music, or just tell them the chords of the song. Usually if they just listen to it real quick, they can be like, all right, it's these chords, and you can understand, because there's only so many chords and they can only be played so many ways. So it's like you kind of understand when you're good at it. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not great. I can't play every instrument well, but that's the joys of tools and AI. So yeah, that's how I get through it, is lots of samples and AI fills in the blanks, and yeah, so that's how I get what sounds like high quality production, is through my AI tools. So that's how a one-man band happens.
I know there's a lot of controversy when it comes to using AI, and the only thing I'm going to tell people when I have this conversation is this. There's a big difference between using it entirely and leaning on it as like a tool in your tool belt. I take the route of leaning on it as a tool in your tool belt because it's here. It's not going to go anywhere. We can either learn to use it ethically or let it destroy us, and I would rather not let it destroy us. I'd like to learn how to use it ethically, if that is an option that we can all agree to.
Yeah, so there's lots of cool things that you can do, and depending on how deep your pockets are, it can get really fucking cool. But the way I look at it is, if you look back in history is great at predicting the future. And the thing there is, over time, this same argument has repeated itself consistently. It happened when electric guitars were introduced, it happened when synthesizers were introduced, and it happened most recently when auto-tune was introduced. And I got to witness the auto-tune one, so seeing how people feel about AI now is the exact same as how they felt about auto-tune when it first came out. And back then, you were kind of almost shunned as an artist if you used auto-tune because it wasn't considered real or natural. And now every single artist uses it, and no artist has a real now I won't say no, because some artists are specifically natural vocals, but the majority of a lot of artists do use effects on their vocals and things like that now, and it all started with auto-tune. So, and it's the same thing with AI. You can use it because there's like those AI country songs from like Beats by AI and stuff. Like those are funny, but it's clearly AI. Like you can hear it, you can tell.
There's no soul
And
in it
so,
whatsoever.
yeah, and you can hear that, and but then when you look at like artists like Boy What, who does like SpongeBob, that's a whole different type of AI, and it's used in a way that really enhances the character. It's SpongeBob, but it brings a different value and a different type of AI. You're like, oh, that's AI, but oh, that's AI versus yeah, that's AI, and you just kind of like laugh it off and whatnot. So, but like even I use a lot of that for my project Scotland. That stuff's a, a lot mixed. It's more mixed with AI and stuff, and that's why that's like my little fun side project. Is I'm still learning how to use those tools, and that's kind of what that's for. Is I'm still learning how to use that and then put it into my music because like secret, I can't play the drums, okay, but I know AI can. So that's like my drummer is AI. So that's how that works. And yeah, there's good ways to use it and there's not. And I've found both the worst and the best ways. I got one song that I wrote. This was right after my EP, which, by the way, anyone who's listening to this, anything before my Trauma album is absolutely fucking ass. And just don't listen to it because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So Trauma album and before is great. Anything that's earlier than that, just ignore it. The only reason I even keep that stuff up is because a friend of mine from high school, his daughter really likes those songs and the way those vocals are done. And so I keep them up because she listens to them all the time. And they're literally for her. And that's it. Otherwise, I'd take them down. But the vocal mixing on that was hot garbage, to say the least. And that was a lesson learned in AI mixing and mastering. And so I will never do that again. But yeah, that's my story for AI.
How many major artists that people listen to all the time and really like use AI, do you think? And just aren't public about it?
Well, anyone who used the beat BBL Drizzy, which I know Drake did, and I believe Kendrick Lamar did as well, that was made by AI. Let's see. Somebody, I believe, who was it? Either A Day to Remember or I don't know. I really think it was A Day to Remember, but don't hold me to that. Did a collaboration with Boy What, which is an AI artist. But I imagine a lot more people do than you would imagine.
I mean, as I stated,
especially for the mixing and mastering, because it's cheaper than paying a studio. I mean, yeah, you don't get, well, in my instance, you don't get a lot of control, but I don't know how to control it anyway, so I don't want the control. So I let it do what it needs to do, and sometimes it fucks up my vocals, but that's also because if I'm off, then it wants to replace my voice and correct it with AI. So then I just got to get better at singing, and so that's something that, I have to know whenever I'm mixing the song, and it does that. Oh, I got to go re-record this because I clearly fucked that up. So yeah, it's that.
as I stated earlier, it's the technology that's here and it's not going to go anywhere. And for all the controversy against it, I do get it. I do understand the controversy, but at the same time, like, I want to focus on the positive aspects that we can use from this tool, and like how we can improve ourselves and our crafts and just humanity in general. So I'm glad that I'm glad that you're like trying to figure that out on the ground level as an artist.
Yeah, it's a great tool for me because, like, even ChatGPT, I use ChatGPT as like my publicist and my manager. I'm like, I'm asking all the time, like, what do I need to put into my video shoots or my content that's going to be engaging, or how do I need to line up my hooks, and I get the information back as if I'm asking people in the industry, and so it makes it easier that way to be able to try and start thinking in the right mentality and getting the information quicker than emailing someone and then trying to then wait and figure it out and all this and that. It's just using it in the right way can amplify and speed up the process in which you can do things. But then again, using it as a crutch is ultimately just going to make the foundation of your project weaker, because it was never you doing it, it was something else. So you definitely got to make sure you don't cross that line.
You don't want to atrophy yourself.
Yeah.
All right. All of this talk aside, I have one slightly important question for you.
Yes. I'll take important questions for 500, please.
Okay. Red or blue pill? And why? I'll Venmo you the 500 in like 4.5 years.
The Matrix questions. I was not
prepared for that.
Not prepared for the red or the blue pill question. So,
let's unpack that right here, right now, together.
So let's see. Red or blue pill? Red or blue pill? So let's see. I'm trying to remember. Red pill is...
The red pill reveals the true nature of reality, which is a simulated world, and the blue pill allows the character to remain in the illusion.
Yeah, blue pill is ignorance, red pill is reality. Mm-hmm. So, here's what I'm going to say to that, because in a roundabout way, I think about this all the time. Being neurodivergent like I am, and always trying to learn more and more and understand the workings of how everything works, the more it drives me insane. And I forget who it was specifically, and this was probably Greek, Roman time, but I remember there was somebody that just I feel like the more that you are going to learn and know, almost, I don't want to say schizophrenic, but the more like that you are going to become, because yeah, ignorance is bliss, honestly. So yeah, that's a real deep question. Me personally, I would say red pill, because the urge to know, I think, overwhelms the capacity lock on my brain. Like, I feel like I would be able to handle it all, but the more I learn, the more I understand why people like Nikola Tesla, Einstein, And whoever I'm trying to think of back, I feel like it was a philosopher of some type, but all these people were like batshit insane, but incredibly smart. And I think that's why it's just you get to the point where you know so much that it eats at you because you feel you have the answers to solve the problems, but everyone around you can't compute or understand what you're saying. So it's almost as if you would be speaking in a foreign language, and it's like, why are you not hearing the solution when in reality they just can't comprehend it? So yeah, did that answer your question, or did I just jump down a rabbit hole?
I'll have you know, I relate very much to Alice, and jumping down rabbit holes is not only a hobby, but I'm trying to eventually make that a profession. You did answer my question. I'll also answer it, because I can't just ask something without also answering it in turn, because that would be rude. That would be very rude of me. I always fight over this, because especially after seeing the movie, or the movie, I haven't seen the others. I know, don't come for me in the comments, guys. I'm sorry. I'll get to them. But, as much as I want to say, yeah, I would love to choose the blue pill, I don't think my body, my soul, my brain, any part of my essence would let me. I always find myself choosing the red pill over and over and over and over again, in a constant, never-ending loop of both existential excitement and existential dread. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think, like, I feel like it'd be cool to be ignorant, like, as like a holiday vacation.
That'd be great.
But like, as like real life, no, like I have to know too much almost, and that's just how my brain works.
I like the idea of like a holiday vacation. It's like Avatar the Blue People, just going into an ignorant sim body for the day.
Yeah. But at the same time, that push for, the knowledge and that red pill, so to speak, that's what breeds the creativity. So all those people that were weird throughout history are the ones that were also the most innovative and pushed boundaries because they knew they could, while other people didn't, I guess.
I think I like that viewpoint. I see what you're saying. I'm like compartmentalizing it inside my brain, and I'm like seeing how that would play out in like almost like not quite a Civil War reenactment, but I don't know if that makes sense. I always have like weird movies of current things that I'm talking about happening in my brain.
That's fair. I live my whole life by basically memes and quotes. So specifically Euro Trip. I don't know if you've seen that movie or not, but if you haven't, you need to.
At the end of this episode, I have homework for you, and that is send me a list of movies you think I should watch, because I clearly am behind.
You need to watch all the Matrix, and you need to watch Euro Trip. Euro Trip will basically complete your life, I promise.
All right, if it doesn't, I'm gonna hold you to that.
That's fair.
Let's see.
That is absolutely fair.
Let's see. So word on the street, i.e. TikTok comment sections, says you might be interested in aliens and UFOs and the like.
So listen, Tom DeLonge ain't got shit on me, alright?
I have no idea who that is, but you're gonna have to educate me.
Okay, let's unpack that. So Tom DeLonge is the singer for Blink-182.
Oh,
and he is...
Okay, that's why that name sounds familiar.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Well, now that you're caught up. Yeah, so he's like a super alien guy. But he still ain't got shit on me, or at least what I believe. As far as aliens go, yes, mathematically, there has to be, by definition, aliens out there. There has to be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Will we ever see them? Who knows? But I look at aliens and religion as the same thing. And I know this is probably going to get deep, so hopefully just hang with me. So I look at religion, and all this, mind you, started because I was a youth pastor at one point, and I was doing my first sermon. And we're going to unpack this later. We'll save that whole specific thing for another time, but I'm just going to give you this quick little bit. And I was trying to really get into religion, and it dug me deep into the ancient Sumerians, and then it started digging me into aliens, and this is how we got into aliens, and my beliefs shifted, all because of that point in time. But right back to where I was at. Looking back at the ancient Sumerians and being the first known recorded, I guess, literature or any sort of documentation that was transcribed, they're talking about like a sky battle, and these people coming from the sky and like taking resources and things like that and teaching them things and whatnot. And from that original one story that we have, all these religions have come from it. And so when I look at it with a neurodivergent brain, I see there was an intervention from an outside species that came in, or maybe it was like, maybe they were living underwater. I don't know. That's a thing that we just learned and figured out. So maybe it could be squids. I don't know. But regardless, they came from somewhere that was not here and did something for these people. And that's kind of how we've been able to progress a lot faster over these last X amount of hundreds of thousands of years versus before, because we've always had Homo sapiens and Homo erectus for millions of years, but this one last little blip has excelled from a genetic standpoint, in conjunction with whatever this event was that they recorded and wrote down. So looking at that, I would have to then deduce that, yeah, some sort of being, entity, creature came down and then thus either manipulated the Homo erectus genetics or helped whatever these people were as a species to then start to create the things that we've evolved into today. But then getting deeper than that, on the next level, more of a quantum level, then we're talking about multiverse and interdimensional and things like that. And I do believe in the multiverse, because I believe that deja vu is mostly just memories intersecting between timelines. So it's like you experience it because it actually happened in another timeline, but the choice that you either made or didn't make, because there's always this thing at the end of deja vu where it's like, okay, and here's the choice. So for example, someone comes in the room and they're going to say something, and you're like, oh, I could say this or this. Well, technically you've said them both, but because it's happening at the same time in two different timelines, you're just seeing both kind of happen. So like you're going to experience one of those, and the other timeline is going to experience the other. And that's kind of, to me, that's kind of cool because it helps with, I guess, I don't want to get morbid, but like end of life stuff. Because like the songs that just came out are the two that aren't covers, are basically about the inevitability of death. Like no one can avoid it, and it comes in all kinds of different ways. But the pain at the end for everyone is there's always sadness and grief, no matter how you die, who dies, what happens, it's all the same. And so knowing that just this experience is ending doesn't mean that it's over for me, because I'm still having experiences elsewhere in other timelines and realities and things like that. So for me, it's like there's a timeline where my EP, as shitty as it is, blew up and I became popular off that. And there's a timeline where right now one of these songs pops off and I, superstar, famous celebrity or whatever. Or, just every possible scenario and situation that you can think of, if you can think it, then it has happened or it is going to happen. And so to me, that's kind of cool, because it's just endless, and time itself, like the past, the present, and the future in any one reality is all there. It's basically a loaf of bread, and the experience of time is time is what you are experiencing, not the events, because the events are already there. So every event, every second of the day is a slice in this loaf, and time is what's just flipping through them, and you're just kind of whizzing through it. So yeah, once this loaf's over, you just move to the next one, I guess. Did any of that make sense, or did I just sound like a weirdo?
Honestly, I've never heard it explained quite like how you've explained it, but I am here for the loaf of bread explanation, and that might actually be a clip of this episode I go back and upload as a separate clip later, because I literally pictured it as you were talking about it, and I'm like, oh, no, that makes a lot of sense. Loaf of bread? I like that a lot.
I mean, we probably have to save this for another episode, but we could get deep into the quantum world and how time and physics work and things like that, because yeah, I could take you places on that.
Okay, but is it like when stoners say, I know a place and the place is just a back alley, or are we like going places? Like, do you have like secret unresolved files on your desktop somewhere?
No, definitely not.
At least you can't tell me
along
here.
The lines of a Neil deGrasse Tyson TED Talk on the quantum universe and how it works.
So I take it you know a handful about quantum computing and quantum physics and stuff like that.
I fucking love it. A while back, I got invited to a NASA JPL for the Pluto mission. I forget what it was called. Horizon, the Pluto Horizons mission. So I got invited out there and got to tour the Space Center, where it's like tracking you get all the screens and stuff like you'd see in the movies, where they're tracking it through space and all their fancy computers and stuff, and got to meet Alan Shepard and a bunch of other cool people and whatnot. So yeah, science has always been my forte. If I could have been an astronaut, that probably would have been my go-to thing, but I chose to be emo instead.
Nothing wrong with that one. We need
No.
your music.
Maybe one day I can be emo on Mars and do some really cool emo shit.
If I can do the press coverage for that, that'd be great. I'll even do the photography if I can get a camera to Mars somehow. Which brings me into two interesting questions. One, when you hear the words humans will reach the singularity with quantum computing, what does that mean to you? And the other question that will probably be washed over with the first one is, how do you think quantum computing will help us understand like UFOs and like interdimensional things? Like, how many conspiracy theories do you think are gonna be unraveled because of quantum computing?
Hopefully all of them. Quantum computing will be what starts us in the direction of Star Trek.
Ooh.
And that's a good thing, because if we can create something from just molecules, then we can essentially create something from nothing. And for like the Star Trek reference, the reason they can be the society that they are is because of their replicators. They can create food, they can create resources.
Clothing.
And so quantum computing will get us to the point to where we can then figure out how can we draw from what's naturally created around us to create the things that we need. Like, what's the chemical makeup of a steak? What do we need out of that steak? You know, and eventually it could just be as simple as you drink a liquid 3 times a day instead of eating food that is exactly the chemical makeup, the proteins, the amino acids, and things that your body needs. And then because of that, now we've eliminated all sorts of diseases and things like that, because we're giving our bodies basically, I don't want to say GMO nutrition because some people will lose their shit, but yeah, highly designed nutrition for your body. So if you want to talk about it in like cars, it's like taking a car and putting high performance fluids in it to maintain the longevity and the high performance of the car. And eventually that's where we should get, hopefully. But that comes down to there definitely needs some change in the world, and the right people to lead that, because it could definitely go the wrong way quick.
I certainly agree with that one. That's for sure. To me, I'm not exactly as up on the subject as, say, you are. I maybe know a little bit more than, like, a normal person, but far less than, like, someone who actually knows the stuff. But to me, us reaching the singularity as humanity kind of sounds like what you kind of just described.
Yeah, it's some people want to make it like scary, because when you think of black holes and they talk about the singularity, you're thinking like that's the final point of existence and nothing can exist.
Not quite.
But that's not true, because one, nobody actually knows, and
It's unprecedented.
and two, yeah, and two, it just means you get to like a peak, a pinnacle point. It doesn't mean it's the pinnacle, it's just a pinnacle at the moment, you know. So it can always grow and evolve from there, and it will. So it's definitely not a scary thing. It just means our society is going to change and evolve a lot more quickly than it has. So hopefully, I think people from Gen X down will be fine, but people beyond that are probably going to freak out. because they're not the types of people that really enjoy change, and that's going to be a huge one that I just don't think that they have the capacity to understand. So that's going to be an interesting evolution in society, is when that comes full circle.
When I've said it before and I'll probably say it again, when I say we should be afraid of quantum computing and the singularity, I don't mean we should be afraid of that specifically. I mean, if we are not, as a society, as a humanity, as a species, like, aware of the technologies that are coming out and the progression that we're about to, like, steamroll into, we are gonna have that power and that freedom taken from us, and it's gonna be given to, I don't want to, like, prophesize, but from my understanding and my, like, metaphysical experience and, like, just viewpoint, like, we should be afraid of the elites taking over quantum physics and quantum computing and humanity being singular in the singularity, because if we don't have that power ourselves, it's just going to be more years of oppression and control and divide that is absolutely toxic and absolutely terrible for people and the planet and getting to space, damn it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And the funny thing is that we're talking about this, and this is all basically what my new album is about. So I think that's kind of funny, because that was not planned, but happy accidents, like Bob Ross said. So that's funny. But yeah, I absolutely agree. There's definitely got to be some change somewhere at some point. When and where, I don't know. But yeah, one day it'll happen, because even Rome fell, so it'll come.
That's honestly kind of one of the reasons why I'm trying to push, like, my Discord community and, like, this podcast and stuff like that, and, like, my writing and myself, because I feel that change coming, that potential fall to Rome, and I think a lot of people do too. And I want to push people working together, because even if we have differences, even if we disagree on stuff, like, I really do think, like, we can find common ground and bridge those gaps, even with the misunderstandings, even with the differences, because humans have done that for eons, like, nations and countries, like, they have worked together peacefully. I'm not going to talk about the non-peaceful stuff, because I really don't want to focus on that. I don't want the non-peaceful stuff to keep happening. I don't want to keep putting energy into it.
Right.
So, yeah, like, I hope we can all come together, and I hope that if Rome does fall again, it's hopefully not as bad and we bounce back pretty quickly as together.
My take on what I see happening, and this is just me looking at the past and where we're headed in the future, I feel like it'll probably end up just being a federal government collapse, and it'll end up just being, like, states running themselves. Like, each state will just be its own entity, and, like, that's how we'll be, just, like, smaller micronations, I guess, which really wouldn't be a bad thing. But yeah, obviously, some states would suffer more than others, GDP wise, because it's funny, because our government is more socialist than most of these, I'll just say, people realize, is because it's like we take from certain states, like California, one of the most liberal states there is, and then and this is a very, very loose, but, like, help subsidize other states like Wyoming and stuff. So it's funny how it's like all of the money funnels up to the federal government to then get blanketed out for whatever bullshit that they want. Most of it's just dumb shit, but yeah, it's like doing that is literally a socialist thing, but it's disguised as capitalism. And to me, it's funny. I see it. But that's my neurodivergency. But yeah, it's funny, and it kind of just needs to go away.
I have a few friends who want to create like homesteads and little communities like that where they're self-sustaining and we don't really need like government help of any kind. And if I ever make it, if I ever freaking make it financially, I'm going to funnel money into those people because I need to see this happen. It would just be...
Yeah, I would love to do that. That'd be so cool.
It would be cool. I 100% agree. Like, community efforts, like, I think a friend of mine and I were hanging out the other day. We were talking about how Japan is, like, one of the cleanest countries and, like, other stuff like that because of, like, the value on community. I want to visit. I want to visit so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely like to go to Japan at some point. I know it'll happen. I gotta figure out when.
If 21 Days Gone somehow makes me money, and any book I make after that somehow makes me money, I plan on taking several friends with me somehow to different places, because I know people are like, oh, you should travel solely, you should do this solely, you should do that solely. I want to have experiences with people.
Nope.
I know what being alone is like. I can have my own alone experience with other people around. That's possible.
Right.
So we're all going to Japan together.
Yeah.
Get your passport ready.
It's funny for me because, like, right now, my most popular album is my Christmas album, which I didn't even mean for that to happen. The Christmas album was a literal last-minute thing that a friend of mine jokingly was like, oh, dude, you should do an emo Christmas album. And I was like, say less, fam, I got you. So then I whipped that up, and now it's become, like, my go-to thing. So it's like last year was when I released it, and I ended up making like $600 off of it for just the month of December. So that was pretty cool. And like it still gets plays now, so I know this year it's gonna do even better. But yeah, I could just keep saving up that money, and that's gonna be my Japan vacation money.
Nice. I think, so full disclosure, Narcissist, I think, is the song that I found, or I guess found me. And then immediately after that, I had found the Christmas music, and I don't know if it was Christmas when I was listening to it, but I like it, and it will be played not during Christmas, because I am indeed one of those people who does not care what season it is. I will play Jingle Bells loudly.
That's valid. I will say, the other day I was trying to post some stuff on, I think, TikTok. And again, I don't know how any of this works. It could just be set for just me, but I've tried to do it again, and I can't get it to replicate it. So I don't know if it was for me or if they're actually doing it. But I was trying to upload a video, and you know how on the bottom they got like those filter things, like you can scroll through and it does like a filter with a preset like sound clip or whatever. Do you even know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely. So some of the filters like have their own sound clips associated with them that you can kind of change out if you want to use just the filter, I think.
Yeah, it was something like that. So I was just looking at those because I didn't know what they were, and I was scrolling through, and I'll be damned if one of them wasn't linked to my song, my cover of Holy Night.
What? Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, what? Yeah, and I did a screen record of it because I was like, no fucking way. I was like, that's cool as shit. And then I was like, well, no, maybe they just did it because it's my music and it's me. And then I went back and tried to like see if I could go back in and do it. And no, it was a new different grouping of different songs and things. And I was like, huh. I was like, well, that would explain why random songs keep getting like these random plays here and there. Especially the Christmas ones, because they're still showing up. And I'm like, y'all know it's spring and summer, right? So seeing that, and then, yeah, I was like, oh, that's starting to make sense.
So I live in the desert, Arizona, where it's never winter and never spring. And if I can listen to Jingle Bells when it's 120 donkey balls out, then anyone can listen to Christmas music whenever the heck they please. This is a free country, damn it.
Valid.
So no hating Christmas music. It's let people have joy.
Facts.
Plus, in my argument, and I'll drop it, around August it becomes so corporate I can't stand it. Me listening to Christmas music any out of season is me remembering the good times and not pay money for this tree, buy these decorations, Black Friday sales happening now, a month early.
Yeah, Black Friday's just a scam. Listen, when I was in college, I worked retail. Bro, I remember changing the price on the toasters from literally $9.97 to the sale price of $9.99 for Black Friday. It went up 3 cents and it got called a sale. So listen, it's a scam.
I mean, to be fair, I will
never shop on a Black Friday.
I've witnessed this in grocery stores. Sometimes Fry's has the yellow tags that are like sale items, but if you pull it up, sometimes it'll be the same price that's underneath. And you're like, so what's the sale then? What? What do you mean? It's just a different colored tag.
Yo. They just put the word sale on it, and then people are like, oh, that's cool. And it's like, no, this is the same price.
And sometimes it's kind of up to like or I don't know how it works in every grocery store, but I've heard by listening to like the people at the shop, like the grocery store I shop at. I worked at a Safeway briefly, and that was like right around when COVID was happening, and I am really glad I didn't stick with that job. That would have been a nightmare. But I overhear managers and stuff talking about how sometimes like they're in control of the pricing on stuff. Like they can like choose when sales days happen, and I'm like, so it's up to you if you want to scam people? Huh. That makes me feel better about society.
Right. Like, good to know.
Like, maybe I should go to the farmer's market this weekend and pay more money, but actually have a real conversation with a real human being.
Right. I guess the good thing around here is I pretty much live in Amishville, so going to farmers markets and like the Amish produce stores is actually kind of cheaper now.
This is a question mostly for me and not my viewers, but or our viewers, I guess, because I hope you share this with other people. But just out of curiosity, what's the population total in the town or place that you live in?
So I live in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, and it's like I don't know, I'd say in the thousands. I'm not, maybe.
I'm gonna go ahead and compare that right now. Waynesboro, you said?
Yeah, Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. I genuinely have no idea. If I had to like guess, I'd say maybe like 5,000.
So as of 2023, it is 11,067 according to Google.
Oh shit.
And I have to tell you, I'm incredibly fucking jealous. Can we trade places? Because take a guess. Do not look at anything. Just guess how much just Phoenix alone has.
Well, I would have to say more than 500,000.
By a lot. It is 1.65 million as of 2023.
Good Lord.
And that's just Phoenix. That's not talking Mesa, Tempe, Glendale, Peoria, Ahwatukee, which are technically kind of, sort of, depending on who you ask, a part of Phoenix. It's a grid system here, so it's pretty, if there's no traffic and no accidents, it's pretty easy to get from one side of the town to the other in like less than an hour. Apparently it's not like that in most other places of the world, I've heard.
Yeah. No. There's some places that are a hot mess. And they're called Washington, D.C.
I'm not gonna lie, I do eventually want to visit it just once, just to say that I did, because I guess historical, but I think I'll just do a virtual Google tour, maybe when VR gets better.
It would be so much better. Listen, it is just a hot mess. Like, any video or movie that you've seen of, like, New York or any place that's, like, the streets are just packed full of people, and then there's just, like, cars just on the roads, but they're never moving. It is that. It is all of that. And it is just so fucking much.
I've never been to, like, New York. I haven't actually been past the Mississippi, but, I've heard from people that the rats in New York are like about the size of small dogs. Is that true?
Yeah, you could definitely maybe compare them to like beavers and groundhogs for sure.
Oh,
they got
that's
some
neat.
monsters down there. Yeah, there's some monsters.
I think I'll take the scorpions, the cactuses, and the tarantulas. Thank you. I had a run-in with a really big rat one time, and I still think about how that thing probably could have eaten my face if I let it.
I remember one time as a kid, this is probably, it's not real trauma. It's funny now, but boy, back then it was traumatizing. But I remember I was playing as a kid, and I went to run in between two trees, and in between these two trees was a giant spider web, and right in the middle of that tree was this giant fucking face-dwelling, like, fucking alien-looking spider. I believe it was a banana spider. It was, like, black and yellow. But to me, being probably 8 and seeing this spider about as big as my face, and I'm just running up towards it, and my body's running, but my brain's processing, that's a fucking spider. And then next thing you know, my feet literally just leave the ground because my body's just like hit the ground fast. So my feet just exit the ground, and literally I just like snoot boop this spider and fall to the ground. And then I just proceed to start screaming like a banshee running back to the house. And then my grandma thought that I was being murdered, and then I finally got out that there was a spider, and then my uncle goes out, and then he looks, he comes back, he's laughing, and he's literally in tears, and yeah, that's how I found out it was a banana spider. But I don't know why that story popped into my head, or why I even told it, or what we were talking about to get me there, but now you have that information.
Well, I have to admit, it was really hard not to laugh while you were talking about it, because as I said earlier, when things are being told to me, I can like picture them almost in like movie quality 4K detail, and oh man. Wow.
It happened pretty much probably like how you're picturing it, so yeah.
Can we
that started my irrational fear of spiders.
Just for the plot, can we get like a live reenactment of that for like your future autobiography movie?
Oh, absolutely. That will definitely be in there. The rooster chasing me, that'll definitely be in there. That was a terrifying moment.
So a rooster chased you.
Yeah, so my grandpa had a bunch of chickens, and he had this fucking rooster, and it was just a giant cock. And I'm not even using that word correctly. Like, he was just a fucking dickhead. And one day, I don't even know what I was doing, and I think I was just minding my own business, actually. And next thing you know, I hear him doing his fucking shit, and he comes running up on me, flapping his little bird arms, and it just like jumps up on my back and starts like eating me. And like, of course, I'm a kid, and now I've got this feathered demon on me, and he's freaking out. I'm freaking out. It's probably making him freak out more, but I don't even know why he's trying to eat me. And so it's all my grandpa could do is just laugh, and I'm running around flailing my arms. This bird's flailing his arms. And so, I'm crying and freaking out and rolling all over the ground. The bird won't let go of my shirt. He's like intent on trying to murder me. And then so like I just basically have to like grab the bird, but then I'm grabbing the bird and I'm freaking out because I ain't never grabbed a chicken before. And then I just start swinging on this chicken, and I'm like 10, I don't know, I don't even know how to fight. So I'm just like beating this chicken in the head with my forearm or something, screaming. And then finally I ran inside, and that's how I got in a fight with a rooster.
That is honestly that is the story we should have started with. That is hilarious. I'm sorry to 10-year-old you, that must have been terrifying, but now that is good.
All right, because of him, I really like to eat chicken, so.
Someone's got to eat the chickens. Sometimes I go through a rotisserie chicken phase where I'll just buy a rotisserie chicken, and that will be my one meal for days.
Bro, listen, we got this place, the grocery store here, they sell these $5 rotisserie chickens. Listen, they are bangers. I'll go grab one of them and then like some Bob Evans mashed potatoes, heat that shit up. I got myself a gourmet dinner for like $7.
Bob Evans is pretty good mashed potatoes, but once I realized how easy it was and I got a masher to make homemade mashed potatoes, I can't do prepackaged mashed potatoes anymore. Like every time I do and I think about the process of just making it homemade, I'm like, this physically hurts me. Like it physically hurts me to make prepackaged mashed potatoes now, and I used to live off of those.
One time I made mashed potatoes, and I'm not even going to act like I probably wasn't high, but I made mashed potatoes by peeling the potatoes and putting on some MMA gloves and just beating the shit out of them in the bowl.
So for science purposes, what strain were you smoking?
I have no clue. No clue. This was back in the days when it just came in a Ziploc bag and you just had to believe what they said, so.
I got to live those days, I'm not kidding you, for probably a year or two, and I am jealous of everyone who got to have that experience for what felt like a lifetime.
I'm not, because I like being able to know I can just go get it whenever I want, and I don't have to wait for someone to get off work, and hopefully they didn't get immediately drunk and fall asleep, or whatever other excuses that they would always have. I'd be like, bro, I just want to get something, and then I wouldn't hear back for 3 days. Be like, God damn it.
So why is that the common story I hear about weed dealers?
Because that's how it was back then, because we didn't have the internet, and most of us didn't have phones because none of it existed. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to act like when I lived in Florida. This is fun story times. When I lived in Florida, I also may or may not have been a salesman in the marijuana market. And I would sometimes deliver said product in my work uniform because I was a pizza delivery driver. And so yeah, that's how I did mine. And I used a Nokia 3310, that classic fine piece of, we'll call it art now. And yeah, that's how it happened back in the day.
So that's also a canon event that I need to see in your movie. I need to see a version of you dressed in a pizza delivery outfit. And I need to see this happen, because that sounds awesome.
I pulled up in my it had to have been a 1996 Ford Taurus station wagon. I think it was teal. And I worked at a pizza place called Hungry Howie's. And I have my little pizza bag. And I would take extra, like, the sub boxes for like the subs and like the chicken wings and tenders, and I would take those home and fold them up, and then I would put my quote unquote pizza products in there, and then put them in my pizza delivery bag and put it in my back seat or my passenger seat, and then I would go make my quote unquote deliveries, and yeah.
Now, if you could, would you ever go back to doing that? Would you be a grower?
Oh,
Would you
no.
be a... No?
No, I mean, I work in the industry now. So yeah, I guess I'll walk that back. I wouldn't do it in that type of capacity. But to run an actual legit business, yes, I could do that. Because now I work in a cannabis lab. That's my day job. So I make extractions and stuff. I specialize in hash and rosin, for the most part, but I also do like isolate blending and infusions and things like that, and whatnot. But so I mean, to say, yeah, I would do it, but there's certain things that I want to do. Like, you'd be cool to have my own strain in my own company at some point, because I do want to blend certain strains together. For me, this is getting way off topic, but for me, my thing is to blend Pineapple Express, which is my favorite strain, and I want to blend it with Kush Mints to make like a Polar Express. And then I also want to breed it with what was the other one? Northern Lights, so I can get a Northern Express. And I think those strains would be pretty cool because they haven't been done yet, and that's something that I want to do and make some cool products out of. I've got some pictures of some products I can show you. One of them is, well, kind of explicit. So I have this thing at work. Listen, and for anyone that's going to be listening to this, don't fucking judge me, all right? But I have this thing at work that whenever we're pressing rosin, the second press is just the stuff that's not good, but we still get it out. We take that. I mean, it's still good, but it's not of high quality. So we put that and make carts out of it. But I like to tend to, whenever I'm gathering it up, make art and sculptures out of it. And, well, I'm a human, so all my sculptures end up being giant dongs. And so I have this really nice one that I made that I have a picture of, and it is a fucking work of art. It was like a 200-gram, just giant girthy penis that I made, and I'm really proud of it. And yeah, that's what I do at work.
I was actually just about to ask if you had any creative freedom there, and it sounds like you do. And I'm gonna just want to take a look at this later for my own personal benefit.
I will definitely send you the pictures because they're fucking hilarious.
I do need a good laugh every now and again. Apparently it's the best medicine. That's actually kind of cool that you work in like the cannabis industry and you're like adjacent to it. I need to schedule this episode, but I do have a guest I want to have on in the future who is like literally their entire life is about like cannabis education and stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe in the future we can even do like a three-way thing and you guys can like talk about the industry and I could be like, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome.
I will
start a whole new subset podcast.
That'd be cool. That is kind of something eventually I want to look into doing. Like if I end up having like you and other guests on as a repeat and it goes well and we're able to like commune and converse like this pretty well and stuff, like maybe we'll do like co-hosting shows and stuff in the future just because we can.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I do want, like, I don't want this to just be the Mars show. Like, no, like, I want to exist with other people. As I said, like, experiencing with other people is so important to me. So come on, come all. This is our show.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. So we have learned a lot about you today in an hour and a half. Can you believe it's been that long?
No, that's crazy. Once you put it into perspective like that, I'm like, holy shit.
And technically, this is our first time talking as extensively. I think this has gone well.
Actually, yeah, that is, yeah. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, it's our first time actually having a conversation and not just random texts here and there.
I feel like we've hung out in like comment sections with each other and like stuff more than we've done texting, but that's starting to change. I think we've been texting more.
Yeah. It's evolving.
Also, I have to tell you this because I'd have to tell everyone this. If my messages take forever to get to you, I'm sorry. I am not great when it comes to in-person communication.
Hey, that's valid. It's called out of sight, out of mind.
I think that's an autistic thing. I'm gonna just blame my quirks.
Yep.
I promise I am always working on that, though. People are important to me, and I need to show them that by, like, replying to their damn messages sooner than 7 to 8 business months.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it'd just be cool if you had like a stats card, you know, like a sports card, but instead of like sports statistics, it just shows like all the pros and cons, like you're great at this, but if I don't see you for 3 hours, I forget you exist, you know, that type of stuff. And then you could just hand them out to people and then they'll be like, oh yeah, I could fuck with this, or no, that's not my cup of tea. Like, that'd be fucking cool.
I think that might be what the internet is for.
Maybe.
Or at least we could probably use the internet to kind of do what you're saying. Because in my brain, what I'm picturing is like a sports card, but it like changes with like the attributes that might be unappealing or appealing to the person that's holding the card. Like some sort of sci-fi magic bullshit.
Oh yeah, like some holo cards.
Yeah, like if you're holding the card of the person that handed it to you and it's like their sports card, you know, and it'll come up with like the pros and cons that matter to you, like are, I guess, algorithmically like designed for you. So like, I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope that does.
Dude, you're out here living in 3055. Like that's some wild fucking tech shit. Star Trek would be proud of you.
I am a big fan of Star Trek. I'm also a fan of the Orville. I'm also a fan.
Yes.
Oh, it
Fucking
sounds like
Orville
you know what that.
Shit. Let's go.
I am so
not gonna
hoping
lie.
we could get another season.
Bro, I'm saying that shit needs to just continue forever, like The Simpsons.
Honestly, so I do have mixed feelings on like The Simpsons and Family Guy. I like Family Guy if it's just Stewie and Brian. I need a Stewie and Brian show. I can't. I've tried to like the other characters. I can't do it. I like the dog and I like the evil baby.
For me, my show, my go-to has always been South Park, and it will always be South Park. Family Guy, American Dad, shows like that, like they're all right. Those shows for me are more like kind of like background shows. Like they're on when I'm doing something, or like if friends are over, so you can just like casually laugh but then move on. That's kind of what I look at those shows for. But like South Park, duh, like if that's on, I'm probably fucking watching it because it's just fucking hilarious.
My like adult swimmy type shows that I like a lot. Futurama is a big one for me.
Yes.
I wanted so badly to give the reboot, the new season, a chance, and I did, and I'm probably gonna go back and finish it all the way through with that new season, but it does not have the same feel as the original stuff. King of the Hill, I'm so excited for the freaking reboot, especially with Bobby being an adult and not a kid. I can't wait for that. I love it when shows grow up with us.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
But I don't watch a lot of Family Guy or The Simpsons. I keep trying to, but I don't know what it is.
I'll tell you a show that you need to watch. I don't even know where you can find it, to be honest, because it's that kind of fucked up. It used to be on Comedy Central, and it was called Drawn Together. I think there's only 2 seasons of it. But this show is a cartoon, real world, and it's all superheroes. So you've got the cartoon version of Superman and Batman and Pikachu, and even Betty Boop is in there, and other just random superheroes and stuff. But they're all kind of fucked up and shit. And, some of them are drug addicts and things like that, and they just do some wild asinine shit. And it is by far the best cartoon ever, but it is definitely not something that can be, I guess. Yeah, it's definitely rated beyond R now.
I have seen Brickleberry, Happy Tree Friends.
Forgot about Brickleberry.
Have you seen Mother Up or Dating Guy?
No.
If you like Brickleberry, Mother Up and Dating Guy are a little kind of in the same realm of humor. It's a little different. I do recommend giving it a chance if you kind of the adult humor and cartoon type shows. It was on Hulu for a long time, both of them. Mother Up you might not like as much, considering it's about a mom raising her 2 kids and she's an absolute train wreck. But I don't know if you'll be able to relate to that one, but
I mean, well, my mom was a crackhead, but I mean, she didn't really raise me, so that part wouldn't be relatable. But the hot mess, yeah.
I think it's funny, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna be a mom, but that's a good show if you like adult comedy and cartoons.
Hell yeah. I'll have to check it out.
I'm gonna admit that I have no trouble admitting it, but I have no trouble admitting anything really, but I don't mind sailing the 7 seas when it comes to watching cartoons and movies and stuff, especially if they're not currently being aired somewhere. Piracy, I everyone does it. Well, not everyone does it, but a lot of people do it, and that's arguably one of the things I was first taught on the internet. So old habits are hard to kick.
Hey, listen.
And I hate advertisements.
Facts. I think ads are just a waste of money, honestly.
A lot of my friends that live in town will tell you that I have been complaining about not having live TV for a while. Well, after downgrading my subscriptions to save money and getting the advertisements, whatever I was saying about missing live TV was a lie. I was lying. It is bullshit. I do not like commercials. I despise live TV. Please, for the love of God, give me back the full subscriptions. And do not ever hear me say, I miss live TV again.
Yeah, I haven't watched live TV in a hot minute. I mean, outside, so I have Prime, and Prime has a live TV feature you can watch. Sometimes I'll put that on, but again, it's for just mostly background noise, because I don't want to get invested in a movie if I'm doing tasks, but I want to hear sounds also. So that's usually when I go to the live TV. That's the only time I use it, because whether it's a show or an ad, it's just voices in the background. So then it's okay, my brain can be occupied while my hands do the things, and it's satisfying. So Yeah. They might as well just call it white noise for neurodivergence instead of live TV, because that's all it gets used for anymore.
White noise for neurodivergence, and I am not around people over the age of 65, 70 anymore, but I've heard that they really like their live TV still.
Probably because it's the only thing from the 1900s that they have to hold on to.
Which, to be honest, I fully respect, and I hope as long as we can keep it around for them at least until, you know, we can at least keep it around for them. Once they no longer need it, once all of us from the 90s are gone, we can get rid of it.
Facts. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still fuck with PBS and Nova really hard, but I can get those on YouTube now, so.
That's true. PBS is pretty good still.
Yeah. My favorite thing to do kind of recently is to get really fucking stoned and watch terrible movies and see how long I can last. And that's been my thing. So my recommendation, if anybody, you or anybody else wants to watch arguably some of the worst fucking movies you've ever seen in your life and see how long you can last, I highly recommend Velocipaster. Mm-hmm. It's amazing in the worst kind of fucking ways. And also Llamapocalypse. Llamapocalypse is fucking lit if you like horror movies that are just absolutely dumb.
That actually sounds brilliant. I hope there's a lot of references to llamas in that.
The whole movie's about a llama that shoots lasers out of its eyes and kills people in a fucking cabin in the woods or something. It's fucking nuts.
And I can't make a movie? And I can't write a script and make a movie, and we have llamas shooting lasers out of their eyes in a...
Yeah. Huh. Listen, there's this girl on TikTok that I'm friends with. Her name's Weird Movie Lady. If you don't follow her, you really should. She's fucking awesome. But she made a short movie recently called Huggable. And that, in her budget of, I think, $3.47, and made a better movie than whatever the fuck Llamapocalypse was. But Velocipaster, on the other hand, listen, the rundown on this shit is this priest, I guess, does like some Mighty Morphin Power Ranger shit somehow and gets to turn into a velociraptor and I guess fight crime or evil or something. I don't know, evil crime maybe. But the cool thing is the whole time, even when he morphs into the fucking the velociraptor, he keeps this little like priest bow tie thing on his neck, so it's like, you know, velocirapting for Jesus still. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I definitely recommend at least watching the trailer because it's great.
I will have to do that. So, on the note of like bad movies and stuff, when I was growing up and before I had the internet, I would stay up a lot. I had really bad insomnia, so I was up at random hours and I had nothing to do at like between like 10 o'clock and 6 a.m. until I had to go to school, or if it was the summer, you know. So I'd watch a lot of movies on TV. We had Dish Network, and we pretty much had my parents had like all of the movie channels and stuff. So I was blessed to finding really bad B-rated movies. I actually have a small love, or I would argue that my love for film and stuff came because of that time period. Once I like watched all the big name, like not all the like big name, but like some of the current big name like horror movies, I ran out of horror movies, so I moved to like the B-rated and like the low budget, low studio stuff. I saw this one movie called Survival Island, something Pinata. It has like a couple different names. I saw a movie, it's not a horror movie, but it's called Disaster Movie, which started my love for parody movies, because Disaster Movie was literally like, oh man, it was so horrible. I have no idea why they chose some of the things that they chose to like do, but it was also just horrible enough to be perfect. I also, on that note, it's not a bad horror movie, and I really fucking hate that the Rotten Tomatoes say it's 2%, but for reviews. But Don't Go in the Woods. It's like a horror musical about a band who goes in the woods to write an album, and let's just say that some of them don't make it out. And it was directed by Vincent D'Onofrio. I don't know if you know who that is. He's in Daredevil, Full Metal Jacket, and it surprises me because this movie, like, with Vincent directing it and everything, like, it was actually really good. Like, it had a lot of potential. You could tell a lot of the actors were like newer actors. Like this was probably like their first like 20 projects. You know, like. Yeah. It had so much potential, and Rotten Tomatoes can go suck an egg for 2% reviews. If you haven't seen That's funny. You should, or come to the Discord movie night I'll be holding in June for it.
Oh, yeah. We should do one where we just watch terrible fucking movies and do like a director commentary for the whole movie and live stream it. I don't even know if that's legal to do. People probably can get butthurt over it, but that'd be fucking hilarious. Well, actually, they're fucking terrible movies. Nobody even gives a shit, so... Yeah, it's not like they're fucking universal. But yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be funny as hell.
Being a person who can sometimes get butthurt, my advice to people who are butthurt about it is, this is obviously not for you. Keep scrolling.
Right.
Like, that's like a whole different conversation, but as someone who once upon a time was butthurt by simply breathing, like, this is clearly not your target audience. Go find something that makes you happy, because I don't want to be the thing that makes you upset.
Right. Well, I'm more thinking like the companies, because even with my cover of Please, 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 like, it's still... like, they still put a copyright on it and restricted the views, and I'm like, but I paid for the license. Like, I literally paid to be able to do this, and so they still wanted to restrict it, and I got to fight with them. Like, some videos are fine, but like others aren't, and it gets confusing. So that's why I hate fucking studios, and I hate big corporations, because they do shit like that, and then it makes it harder for people like me, who's a small artist, to promote shit and do shit, and it's like, fucking assholes.
That's actually like one of my, like, I can't say it's my biggest pet peeve with like covers in the music industry, like the actual music industry itself, the entity, and not like independent musicians, but like most of the independent artists, and I don't want to, like, I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to, like, say who's better than who, like, right here, right now. I don't want to do that. But we all know, and we all have preferences for, like, artists who do covers of songs. Sometimes we prefer the covers over the actual artist. And it makes it so hard for small artists to, like, do covers and stuff like that when they're so wrapped up in, like, copyright and stuff like that. Like, I feel like copyright could be a lot more simpler if we let it be than it is, and artists would still be able to, like, get their audience, because I have this firm belief that, yes, original work, it does attract audiences and it does attract a crowd, but I do feel like beginning musicians might have a better foothold if they're able to do cover art, like cover music, before they start promoting all of their own original work, because, like, it's familiar, people understand the sound, they can kind of get your vibe, and they're like, oh yeah, I can fuck with this, or oh hey, this cover is better.
True. So one thing about covers that really, I'm not gonna say sucks or irritates me, but it is kind of like, damn, is, so for me, every cover that I do is $12 a year just for the streaming rights. It costs more if I want to perform it, significantly more, or if I want to do, like, anything else from it, like merch or anything else. There's added costs to every other aspect of it. And so it's like you get to the point to where, are you making enough money from those covers to sustain the licensing fees you're going to need every year, to make sure it's still profitable? And the answer for most people is always going to be yes, because you're going to make $12 a year off your streams, even if you don't ever promote them. But those are things that, like, as an artist, they creep up on you, and then you realize, like now I have my Christmas album. I think I have 2 or 3 licenses attached to songs on there that I had to pay for. So that's like almost $50 a year that I have to pay just to have that album out. And then the same thing with my 2 covers from Sabrina Carpenter and Sleep Token. You know, that's another $25 a year. So I'm up to $75 a year just in licensing to keep those songs active. So as long as those songs make at least that a year, I'm good, which they do. But some artists, that's not the case, especially if you're just starting out. So those are things that, you know, I didn't think of when I was starting, and now I have to piece all that together as added cost to what I'm doing, especially this year, because I plan on doing a lot more covers and branching out like that to try and get, you know, my name and my brand out there. I want to take more songs from other genres and make them emo, maybe even get into some alternative or something.
So this is completely sidestepping it, and I 100% promise that it matters. Do you watch America's Got Talent? Have you ever watched America's Got Talent? Okay.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, my mom and I...
try not to, because sometimes they make me cry because they're so good.
Some of the performances touch my heart because of their stories, and I'm like, no, please, I'm not going to cry in the club right now. But
yeah.
My mom and I would watch that show a lot, and Simon, one of the judges, he sometimes will stop musicians, and this is one of the reasons like why I like talking about covers and why I want musicians to like be able to have more freedom with covers, is because he will stop musicians and he'll be like, no, you have a really good voice, that is not your song, sing another song. And then they'll like choose another song to sing, and it would be like more their style, more in their range, more in their vibe. And I'm like, yes, that's it. That is the kind of thing I want to see. I want to see people coming into their full power by doing things that like jive with their spirit and their sense of self. Like, please do the thing that like feels good to you. And starting like, I don't know, like I promised it mattered, and now I lost the plot. So now it's back to you.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying, because that comes back to just the authenticity in what you're doing. And for me, an example is like my earlier stuff is more, I guess, trap-based, but with the early 2000s emo lyrics and, I guess, vocal emotions. So for me, it was like blending Juice WRLD and literally all emo from 2004 to 2007, really, into, I guess, that forum, just to get those feelings out, really, because most of those songs are kind of old, but they're still relevant to people today, and even to me. So, you know, putting them out, you know, updating lyrics to make it a little bit better, because, yeah, like I said, they were old and references outdated and stuff. But yeah, all that stuff, and transitioning into my new stuff, this is where I kind of wanted to start, but I wasn't quite ready to, because those songs, like, I needed to get that out. That was like an experience, you know, a time in my life that I needed to get out. There wasn't really a way to do it in the like pop punk emo scene, because that's not the types of songs they were. Like those were really, like Juice World inspired. So so that's kind of how that started, even though my brand and my name and everything associated with it is real emo. That's like a different niche type of emo, but I still wanted to try it and do it. And not to say I won't go back to it at some time, but just like MGK, I want to do multiple things. I want to try, different genres, and I want to blend different things together and see what I can create, because who fucking knows if it's good until you do it, That's how we got the alternative. That's how we got some of these crazy genres that we do, is people are like, I wonder what this sounds like with this, and like, wow, that's cool shit. So that's where I'm trying to go with it.
Now, I have 2 notes that I want to say, but we finally reached 2 hours, by the way, and I think this might be the longest episode I have. So thank you for this.
Holy shit.
But
my bad.
No, you're good. This has been thoroughly enjoyable. A lot better than I expected, even though I had 0 expectations. So 2 notes I want to make. So I definitely want to have you on for future episodes, because I don't like just doing a one and done kind of thing with people, because people evolve, people's mindsets change, people grow, people change. Like a lifetime or multiple lifetimes can happen in literally 7 days. I've experienced this. So we'll definitely
if the people want me back, I will gladly come back.
Cool. Then we will definitely try to plan that for the future with that in mind. One of the things on the note of authenticity and like music and like projects and industry and all of that stuff, I'm going to try to implement it as much as I can, like in my own projects. But like one of the things that I kind of want to like make an era of is asking people like, hey, show us your processes, like show us the behind the scenes, and not like just like the silly little faces and goofy poses you make behind the scenes, but like show us the work that you put into it. Like, how do you get the music you do? How do you get the photos you do? Like, after I finish 21 Days Gone, I'm gonna like have like a PowerPoint almost set up of like everything from day 1 of concept design idea to day end of it being published and out in the world. Like, keep that in mind, because I kind of do like that. If that is something you want to do, I can give you the platform here to like show us all like what it is you do, if you want to have that.
That's something I should probably think about. For me, it comes down to, I guess, and this is the neurodivergency of just hyper focusing, because most everything I do is by myself. Like, I tend to forget that like I should be recording like what I'm like recording and things like that, and I keep forgetting that that's a type of content that people like, because in my head I'm like, why the fuck am I recording shit? Like, in my head it sounds stupid, but the deeper concept is, it's called discovery content, and that's what people are kind of into, and that's what other bands do. Now, granted, it's usually like their PR person or someone sitting on a couch just recording like candid stuff. So it's for me, I'd have to finesse some things, and that's something I'm going to try and do for like my album when it comes out, is get footage together of doing songs, whether it's for this project or some of my other ones. But yeah, try and sit down and figure out how can I guess
show the process.
Show how I do the things, but still in a way that's not like just me sitting in my bedroom on my messy bed with my laptop and a guitar. Because so
I mean, that's
I
real.
still got to figure out how to make that seem palatable. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah. Eventually that type of content is coming. I'm just still trying to figure out how to do it, because I just bought a tripod, which I use to make the content for the song this weekend, and and I used it to help make that music video for the Damocles cover, which I'm still not even sure if I'm going to put out, because the more I watch it, the more it just looks really amateur, and I don't like it, so I might redo it. I need to get another tripod, because that one doesn't go up. It's a small one, like it's meant to be on like a desk. And I need one that's meant to act like a human, because I don't have another human to hold a phone for me. So yeah, I need to start getting more equipment to help me do better shoots and stuff, which is part of the evolution process for me. So it's like, as I grow, as I make more money, can afford more tools and better equipment and things like that, then, maybe I can get a better computer that can run higher end stuff. Because I can't even use DaVinci Resolve. I have to really get creative on how to edit my videos and stuff, because my laptop can't literally handle it. So
interesting. As someone who only has one other person to record videos and stuff, I get it. And sometimes I hope maybe one day someone will just blimp into existence and become my human tripod. I might have to get a robot.
Yep.
Because I don't want to ask anyone for help, because I don't want to be like, hey, stop everything you're doing and help me make content. That does not jive with me. I can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is about. Yeah, just asking people, being like, hey, do you want to hold this phone? And especially, I guess it comes down to, I don't know enough to tell them really what to do. Because it's in my head, it's I know the angle and the vision that I want. How do I describe that to someone that has no actual fucking clue what they're doing?
And then there's also the other idea, how do I describe this to someone without one sounding condescending and rude, because I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, or it's my way or the highway with no creative or any sort of suggestion. How do I communicate nicely what I want?
Yeah, exactly. And then the other option is I could hire a videographer or something, but then that cost is added into the production of the song. And then the question is, am I making that money back, or am I losing money? So for bigger artists, and like I said, as I grow and my songs grow and my fan base grows, and, more money comes in, that's more money that can get put back in to the brand or the business. And then it can start hopefully getting better, and then I can get people around me and things like that, to do better content. Because last night, me and a friend from work went out to celebrate, the songs, and we were going to see another band and stuff like that. So we were out having a good time and just talking. And he's not a music person. He's not. He just knows how to do cannabis, but doesn't really know anything about music or whatever. But he was asking about, possibly doing, helping me with, video and photo stuff, even though he doesn't really know what to do. But, we were talking about that last night. So it's things happen, when they happen and whatnot. So hopefully I'll be able to maybe get with him, and then content like that can evolve into better things, and whatnot. So hopefully I can get my house this summer too, because that's kind of what I'm waiting on now. Because my house, I know we're running kind of past 2 hours here, but I had my house way up in the country, and before my accident. And then I had to sell it after my accident, because I couldn't actually physically live there and take care of it anymore. And so now I got to find another one, but this market sucks major fucking balls. So I'm kind of in limbo now. So thank God for family. But yeah, all that's kind of coming together this summer. So hopefully, like, once I get a place, I'll have an official studio, and I don't have to go back and forth and use my friend's spare bedroom and things like that. Because that's kind of what my studio is his spare bedroom.
Good friend.
Yeah, he doesn't mind. But yeah, it's either that, my bedroom here, or sometimes I'll do it in my car, because believe it or not, the acoustics in my car are actually pretty good.
So on the note that I like, the reason I bring up the idea of like be thinking about how you want to like talk and show the process is because I know, like, for me, I don't like being lied to. I don't know anybody who likes being lied to. And I feel like the major industries, like corporates and stuff, like, they love to make it look like magic. And some actuality a little bit kind of is. Like, there are things that aren't going to be, like, easily accessible as far as, like, the process goes to people. But we can, like, talk about it instead of just gatekeeping everything. I know people will probably have mixed views on gatekeeping, but I think gatekeeping is a form of censorship, and I think any forms of censorship is wrong.
Yeah, that's fair, because, yeah, knowledge should be free, so there's nothing wrong with that. Plus, especially in music, like, seeing how people, like, you know, do their songs, and, like, you know, like, I like watching people's live streams and stuff, like when they're, you know, either just doing like band practice, or when they're doing editing and stuff, and you just, you know, get an idea of like how they do their stuff, what they use. You know, when I was doing the collab with Alley Kate for Holes in the Wall, how we got the vocals blended, because, so I don't know, like, I still don't know enough to say I know enough, but I was having issues blending her vocals with my vocals, and I was scrolling TikTok, and Josh from the band Magnolia Park was on a live, and he was like doing, I don't know what he was honestly doing, but it sounded like he was doing some vocal things and doing some mixing, because he kept like singing a line into his mic, and then he kept adjusting things, so he was working on something. But there wasn't that many people in his live, and so I reached out to him and told him the problem that I was having, and he's the one that literally fixed the issue for me. So, and he asked me a question about some settings, and then I looked and I told him what it was, and he told me what to adjust and fix, and then so I went back and did, and that's the final vocals are because of the suggestions he made and how we fixed it. So yeah, there's always something that you can learn from other people's creative process, for sure.
A note on that song that you just mentioned, I actually, when it dropped, I listened to it because you show up on my release radar, of course. So I listened to your new stuff, and that one was mixed and blended beautifully. Like, however you created that with her vocals, like with yours, like, that live really helped you, I guess, because it sounds beautiful. Like, good job.
Yeah, that was partially, yeah, I probably could even say he could probably deserve a credit on the production, but yeah, that was his solution, basically created the outcome of that song. So yeah, you can thank Josh from Magnolia Park for that.
Well, thank you, Josh from Magnolia Park. Not that you will ever hear this thank you, but... All right, I feel like I'm running out of questions to ask in this moment, because now that it has been 2 hours and I need to finish packing for my second camping trip of my life.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we'll have to unpack that on the next time we have one of these. Those 2 camping trips, that's wild.
And it's even more wild when you know how much I love nature and like the outdoors and how much I despise being inside and like in cities. Like thinking about the fact that I live in a city, every time I do that, my skin starts crawling, like there's bugs under my skin, and I'm like, I need out of here. It sucks here. Don't ever let anyone tell you a population of 1 point something million is a good thing. We need to be spread out more. I don't need to touch your elbows all the time, guys.
Right? There's enough desert for everyone.
Yeah. Go pick some flowers in the desert. You know what? No. You all stay here. I'm going to go pick some flowers in the desert.
Facts.
All right. Unless you have anything you want to add to this, this was a great first guest episode. Thank you for being here. Thank you for talking and answering all of my strange and bizarre and dumb little questions. I appreciate it, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully I didn't talk too much. But yeah, I'm always down for more. Just let me know.
All right, cool. So let's see. Go ahead and I think the normal thing people do is they reintroduce themselves like they did at the start, and then they're like, bye, but I don't know how you want to do that, so
yeah, I don't even know how I don't know.
All right, I've got this for us. All right, if you were tuning into this episode, I had my first guest episode with Scott Shirley from Second Chance Charade, and it was a great episode. Thank you guys for listening to this, and we will be seeing Scott again. Tune in next time to episode 15 of the Digital Quill podcast. Bye, everyone.